Hello everyone, this is Yoda from Team Evil Geniuses, bringing you this video with Nerdstomper.com. This is going to be the first of a two-part series on Slither, and it's going to cover the early game. The general information on Slither, including item build and skill build, is on the forums, and the second video part will cover the mid to late game. If you have any questions or comments after the video, then the forums is also the place to go for that. So without further ado, on with the video. This game, we actually have a tri-lane setup. We have 30 people top, 1 middle, and 1 bottom. This is actually very, very popular at top levels of HON play. Slither is extremely strong in the bottom lane. If she against 2 people, she can oftentimes hold her own, and against 1 hero, it is just complete rape. Slither, just no one stands a chance against Slither. Right now, since I noticed that it's Rachna and Keep You Over the Forest, I know that it is a 2v1 lane, but they don't really have good kill potential, so I can harass very, very much. Especially because my item build, which I do suggest on the forums, recommends a lot of regen and makes you very, very resilient to harassment. Because Slither is basically just the best harasser in the game, so you want to maximize on that in the early game. So basically, unless the creep is like about to die, I'm just gonna right-click whoever's closest. If Tree's in range, then I'm gonna hit him, and if once I harass him out of range, I'm gonna start hitting Arachna. And they basically just won't be able to do anything. As long as I'm not getting hit by Tree, I'm doing just fine, basically. I can't really try to out-CS them though, since Slither's base damage is not that high, and Tree's is really high, and Arachna with the aura is also obviously very high. Here, unfortunately, I accidentally run into the creep wave. Don't do that when you're harassing, or play overly aggressive. Fortunately, I have a crap ton of regen, so I can just use it, and then I'll be back ready to rape again. Notice how, like, even though it's 1v2, I'm still holding my own, like, getting EXP, even, like, harassing them out. A lot of this has to do with Tree being, like, not a very good hero, but Slither is pretty much the best hero to do this with. Like, they're on the back foot here in this lane, and they're only against 1 hero, so this is definitely a very powerful effect that if you can pull it off. Notice here, since Tree is far away, I can basically just 1v1 Arachna, and then once he backs off, I can 1v1 Tree. Against melee heroes that don't have a stun, basically this is what you're going to do. This applies also to melee heroes that are out of mana, like for instance if there's a Magnus or a Chronos that you're against. Obviously those heroes have stuns or slows, but oftentimes after like 1 spell they'll be out of mana. So just bait out the 1 spell and then you'll be fine. In the forum guide, I'll actually say you can either be at Martyrs first or finish your Ring of Basilius. Here, since I'm against 2 heroes and it's very, very unlikely that I'll be able to push the tower, I go for Martyrs first. Also, since I have Martyrs, I can play extremely aggressive, since there's basically no chance I'm going to die. I think here, since Keeper of the Forest was so far up, I can just harass him. Basically, I just hit whoever's closest to me. If I had hit that poison spray, I probably would have gotten 2 kills here, but as it is, I'm probably only going to get 1. Basically, when you're aiming poison spray, make sure you know the direction they're running. There, I was unsure whether Arachna was going to turn around or keep fighting me, and I should have waited to see which one he was going to do before shooting the poison spray. So that's the error I made. Here, however, since Tree walks up to me, I'm just going to kill him. Again, obviously, getting Bloodless kill as the 2v1 lane is very, very strong, and Slither is extremely capable of it, so it's one of the primary reasons to play Slither. So I guess we've covered the laning phase enough. It's basically just right-click them, and then just make sure you're never fighting 2 heroes at once. At the beginning, remember that error where I had to use my flask? Was when I was fighting 2 heroes at once, so that's no good. Make sure you're only fighting 1 hero at once if it's 2v1, and other than that, it's pretty simple. Just hit them, and then like your toxicity slows them, so as you can get like multiple hits in at the same time while you're harassing them. So basically the keys here are make sure you don't die, and make sure you're not fighting 2 heroes at once. And also for poison spray, the trick I mentioned earlier for hitting it is wait until it's very clear what they're doing, fighting you or running away, so that their movement is also going to be very clear, so you don't miss your poison spray. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next clip. The next clip actually isn't too far off, still level 5, but it is a different action. So basically my middle lane tipped me off that Madman was moving back to teleport. So when I knew that, I started backing off. And once I saw that teleport, started running away, and now he can't kill me. So if you're 2v1 bottom and someone TPs, then you should definitely just run away. Like, it's already good that you're drawing two people's attention and holding your own. Even if you're not holding your own, you're still drawing two people's attention. And if another guy TPs, you like win the situation by just going to heal. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Anyway, that's gonna move on to the next clip. Just make sure when you play Slither, you keep an eye out for teleports, because Slither does not have an escape skill other than like slowing them, which is kind of lame for escaping. So make sure you keep an eye out for ganks, because you are very, very gankable until you get your tanky items. Here is the next clip. I actually got ganked again bottom, and this time I died because I was not keeping a good eye out. There were actually 4 people there, so I guess they got what they came for. But anyway, after I spawn, while you're spawning, again, one of the things you want to do is keep your eye on the map and watch for potential places you could TP to gank afterward. Here, obviously we notice that there is a fight going on middle, so I TP. And also, while watching this fight, you have to figure out what angle you're going to go from. Since that basically means I can either go from this angle, around here, up the cliff, or through the river, or up their cliff. Since Madman is going to be on his way to intercept Chipper, I'm going to try to intercept him, since he's the most closest target for me. So here we go. I hit him once, and I tell Chipper, hey, there's a Madman behind you, watch out. So he starts running in the correct direction, and now I slow Madman, and he is going to die while Chipper lives. So key concepts for this one were, first of all, keep an eye on the map while you're spawning, because watching for places you could be helpful is very important, as we saw here. Second of all, alert your allies to potential enemies coming that you are like, if you're right behind them, alert them of the situation via voice chat, which is what I did. And that's about it. Also, I obviously I use my ult for the kill, but keep in mind that if enemies are like right next to you, your ultimate does a crap ton of damage. Like it's what? Let's see here. How much? Let's just see how much damage it is. It's 36 non-lethal magic damage per second times 12. So it's 36 times 12, which is I'm way too lazy to do that math, but it's somewhere in the range of like 500 magical damage, which is the same as like Witch Slayer ultimate or something. So it does a ridiculously large amount of damage, and it stacks very well with toxicity and poison spray. So if anyone gets in melee range of you, then it's really easy to kill them, as we're going to see. And he dies. Anyway, after that, since I have so many people near me, we're going to push the tower. I should be turning on my Ring of the Teacher right now, but I guess I just wasn't thinking of that. Yeah, turning on Ring of the Teacher is really important for pushing towers. I finally realized that it's off, so I turn it on here, and this tower should be going down quite shortly, or at least taking a lot of damage. After seeing that gladiators are still around, I decide that there's too many enemy heroes, so we're not actually going to be able to push the tower. And I head back to my lane bottom. When you're playing Slither, you actually need to farm quite a bit to get the items you need. Basically you need to get your Steam Boots and also your Helm of the Black Legion before you're an extremely strong fighting force, because before then you're kind of squishy, and Slither needs to get in very close to get the maximum out of her skills. Like, this is a radius skill, this one is based on her range, which is pretty short, so you need to get close. And this one is pretty long range, but its purpose is to like cast it on them and then run up to them. So basically Slither needs to get tanky, and to do that you need to farm a lot early game. So that is what I'm doing here. Obviously if you're spawning, then you can watch for TP ganks, but most of the times you just head back to your lane and pressure it. So that is this clip. On to the next one. Alright, so after pushing the lane up, when you go back to farm a lane, you usually push it, because Slither is very capable of pushing lane, and that way you force the enemy heroes to come there to deal with your push. But once they're there, you don't want to stay there, just because like staying up at the second tower by yourself when you don't even have your Helm of the Black Legion yet is very, very risky. So after pushing it up, you have two choices. Either you can go to the neutral to farm, or you can try to go to middle for a team fight. This game we happen to be pretty far ahead, so I decided to go for a team fight. But if if the game is even or if you're behind, then you want to go to the neutrals because ganks are less likely to be successful. Anyway, we're going behind their tower right now. Essentially just waiting for Madman to show himself. This gank was initiated because we saw Madman running here, and Slither put a ward of revelation here, so I didn't charge outside since someone's already on that angle, and I just want to stay where I am to hit my spells on the Madman when he reveals himself. Anyway, after hitting our spells, our panda unfortunately misses his cannonball, so I am forced to use my ultimate to kill Madman. Your ultimate is also very, very useful in forest fights since it gives you vision, which kind of negates the fog aspect of the forest for your team, which is very good. So I kill Madman and also reveal the enemy heroes. Since we see that there are quite a few people here with creep backup, and including a Plague Rider and Narachna, we decide that it's a good idea to back away. So we back out. Witch Slayer is ulted, so he actually goes down. But after this, we are slowly retreating. Our panda didn't quite make it out, so he's still there. One thing to notice here is that I'm staying in the back. Until you have your Helm of the Black Legion, you are pretty squishy, as I said. Like, I have 1000 HP, but it goes down pretty quickly if you walk into the front. So you want to stay in the back, just using your attack at maximum range and your poison spray. Don't charge and try to kill someone in team fights. Anyway, one important thing here is Slither's really good at catching opponents. So when you're actually fighting them, you want to be in the back, but when you're catching them, you need to identify that these are two different situations. But when you're catching them, you want to be in the front because your poison spray has very, very long range, and you're able to catch people from long range, like this gladiator. My allies are going for the Plague Rider, and I will be going for this Arachnus. Since I haven't skilled yet and I just hit level 9, I can actually pick Toxin Ward, which hopefully helps me catch up. It does have a slow. Slows him here. Toxin Ward is also useful for cutting off fog, so I Toxin Warded here. Since he has phase boots, he could easily, if I didn't Toxin Ward there, he could walk through here and I'd be fogged while he was running away, so that's no good. So I put a Toxin Ward there to prevent that. And so I've corralled him into his own area, so now I'm going to kill him. Unfortunately, their Madman spawned and teleported in time, so I will die for it. So K trading yourself for their main carry it's about an even deal. Like, you do need to get farmed early, so it's not the best, but it's fine, especially since I have my Helm of the Black Legion anyway. Since I do have my Helm of the Black Legion, I will declare that the early game is now over. Overreaching points for the early game are, first of all, try to get farmed, don't try to gank too much, since you do need to get your tanky items to be useful in the mid game and the late game. And also try to harass a lot in your lane, since you have the best harassment in the game, and you should take advantage of that with Slither. I guess that's all you have to keep in mind. Once again, this is Yoda from Team Evil Geniuses, bringing this video with Nerdstomper.com. If you have any questions or if you want to see the general guide, be sure to check out the forum. And thanks for watching.